Hello, and welcome to a special edition of Immunology Wars, Isolation, COVID-19. COVID-19 is an infection caused by SARS-CoV-2, or Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome coronavirus 2, and is a disease that has spread across the globe, causing a pandemic. The virus is mainly spread between people via close contact, often from small droplets created during coughing, sneezing, and even just talking. A majority of these droplets will fall to the ground, but the virus is able to survive on hard surfaces and has shown to be alive even after 72 hours. If another person touches that surface and picks up the virus, and then touches their nose or mouth, they are at risk of infection. We can think of this as Supreme Chancellor Palpatine, who represents the virus, using his position in the Senate to influence all the other Republic systems, spreading his own ultimate goals. Coronavirus is thought to be a zootropic virus, which means that it has crossed between species. You can think of this as Chewbacca as a Wookiee getting a viral infection and then being able to pass that disease on to Han Solo as a human host. There are many examples of zootropic diseases, including some strains of flu that originated in birds or pigs, and coronavirus 2 is thought to have originated in bats. The signs and symptoms of mild COVID-19 infection are similar to flu and include a persistent cough, fever, fatigue, and shortness of breath. In more severe cases, difficulty breathing and the development of pneumonia will require hospital treatment. So what is actually happening at the immunological level when someone gets COVID-19? Well, the virus enters host cells, mainly and the alveoli of the lungs, by binding to a special enzyme called angiotensin-converting enzyme 2, or ACE2. This enzyme normally helps control blood pressure, but in COVID-19, the virus is able to bind to it and uses it as a mechanism to enter the host cell. This is Palpatine influencing all the Republic systems, allowing him to spread. Viruses need a living host cell in order to replicate and cause further infection. These cells are then able to present part of the virus on their surface and alert the immune system to their presence. Inflammation results in vasodilation, allowing recruitment of cells of the immune systems to the lungs, in particular resident macrophages, represented here by Chewbacca, and natural killer cells, represented by Jedi Master Mace Windu. In some cases, these cells are sufficient to contain the virus by destroying cells that the virus has managed to infect, whilst also allowing an adaptive immune response to develop. We can think of this adaptive immune response as Luke Skywalker training a specific squad of clones, which represent our T lymphocytes, all of which are aimed to attack the threat, or X-Wing pilots, who are our antibodies being briefed about the specific weaknesses of the virus by Admiral Akbar, who is our B lymphocyte. This adaptive immune response is often sufficient to eradicate the virus, and individuals in which it is successful may only present with mild symptoms of COVID-19. However, in more severe cases, COVID-19 can cause damage to lung cells, and this causes the immune system to respond to this damage by flooding the areas with neutrophils, represented here by Han Solo, the recruitment of monocytes from the circulation, shown here by Chewbacca, and T lymphocytes, which are the clone troopers, and these clone troopers represent cytotoxic T cells, which are designed to eradicate cells. All these cells are pro-inflammatory, and they can release large amounts of cytokines. These are chemicals represented here by C3PO, which are messengers of the immune system and can result in systemic hyperinflammation. Essentially, what is happening here is that the cells that were once helping protect our body are now causing damage to the very thing they are meant to protect. In essence, Palpatine has executed Order 66, and the cells of the immune system have turned on the body, just as the clones turned on the Jedi. This over-release of cytokines is known as a cytokine storm and can be a very serious condition, contributing to the damage seen in the lungs of patients with severe COVID-19 infections. This can result in the potentially life-threatening acute respiratory distress syndrome. Other changes include alterations in blood pressure, lack of oxygen reaching tissues and organs, and this can ultimately lead to organ failure. There is currently no treatment or vaccine for COVID-19, although researchers are working hard to develop one, and it is possible that existing medications might be able to be repurposed to help fight this disease. However, the most effective way to combat COVID-19 remains preventing its spread. So practice social distancing, wash your hands more frequently, and try to avoid touching your face with your hands will all help prevent the future spread of this pandemic. This has been a special episode of Immunology Wars based on the current situation that we find ourselves in. In our next episode, the Rogue One, we'll be looking at the immune response to cancer. I hope you'll be able to join us then for the next episode of Immunology Wars.